Hi, everybody. I welcome you here on a new Ask Tatyana Live. Good day, good evening, good morning to all parts of the world, wherever you are. I find it always so absolutely exciting to know that in the same time, somebody from USA, Brazil, and South Korea, Australia, Europe um, are particularly on the same place at the same time, and it's somehow really really exciting. And I greet all of you, Mark, Roberto, Clem, Joy, Francesco, everybody who is here right now. I'm absolutely happy to have you here, and I hope that we will spend another great hour together. You're absolutely welcome to write me all your questions that you would like to ask. And I must say, last time the amount of these questions was so overwhelming. So unfortunately, I didn't manage to answer all of them, and particularly, it wouldn't be really possible to do it in 1 hour. But I try to be today a little bit more short in my answers. So probably we can cover more questions at once. During you write your messages, by the way, I must say, unfortunately, if the amount is really big, I'm not able to see each one questions of you. For example, after last live session, when I looked at the recording, I noted that some of the questions were repeating 3 or 4 times, but unfortunately, during the live sessions, I didn't see them. But I hope that today it will work a little bit better. Um, I would like to start first with one question that I get from Sophie, from one of my patrons. She asked me some times ago something particular, and unfortunately, she wasn't able to join us in a lifetime. So I would like to answer her questions first, and then we'll go to the comments or questions that come in just in the time. So Sophie asked me, could you tell me how you learn your piece by heart? Practicing repetition, plentiful score reading, another thing. This topic is quite important when you play guitar, and of course, maybe you also ask yourself the same. I think that to be able to play the piece very good by heart and to be very secure with it, we need to use as much different kinds of memory as possible. What do I mean? It could be visual memory, so you memorize how you play, how what your fingers exactly do on the guitar fret, or you can imagine the scores when you play it, not really see, but imagine it. Of course, we need to remember how it sounds, and for sure, it would be good if you could also remember what kind of harmonies you have in this particular moment, or what happens exactly right now. Is it arpeggio part? Is it scales? Some kind of, you know, to make a mind map for your head of the piece. That is also very, very helpful. And usually, when I want to learn a new piece by heart, first I play and practice a lot with the scores so I can see all the details that are in the scores and I can be sure that I don't miss anything very important. And then either the biggest part is already somewhere in my head of the notes, or better way, much better way, if you take yourself a particular part. For example, you started with first phrase and play it several times with the scores, looking in the scores, and then you try to repeat it by memory. So you learn it not just by playing the whole piece 20,000 times, but you actively learn it, and it helps also to keep it much better in your head. It's much more effective. But I think I would like to make also a special video, a special Ask Tatyana episode on this topic, because I think it's quite important one, and I know also that also many of my students struggle sometimes with this problem or with the question learning to play by memory. So I think it could be helpful to do it also as a separate episode. Okay, I try to put my chair right now a little bit higher so I can see everything better. Let's take a look. One question from Mark. If I were looking to purchase a concert guitar, which are the top luthiers of modern concert guitars would you suggest if I had access to the best in a premium classical guitar showroom? It's quite a good question, a very difficult one. Um, First of all, nowadays there are so many absolutely great guitar luthiers in the world. And if you take the special country, if you take Germany and Great Britain and America and Italy and everything else, France, in each country you will find a big amount of perfect guitar luthiers. And the thing is also that for example, guitar that we have in Germany in showrooms or in any kind of guitar shops, what the guitar that you can get in Germany, probably you will not find so easy in USA, yeah, or in Canada, and the way around. So it could be for sure that I don't know all luthiers that could be very suitable for you. But I cannot recommend you exactly one name because it's also very personal. And some of the guitar luthiers have also different instruments. For example, you have heard one name and it was recommended to you, but at the end, you don't buy the name, you buy the instrument, you buy the concrete guitar. So anyway, you need to try. Each single instrument need to be tried, no? And then you need to take a look. Do you like this particular instrument or not? And it doesn't matter what name it has. Sometimes it's a perfect name, but the instrument doesn't sound good. So in this case, probably you wouldn't buy it. So it's really difficult to say which guitar exactly or which guitar luthier you need to have. I have my personal favorite. I have guitars by Michael Bruck, and it's a German luthier. Both of them are double tops, one cedar and one spruce double top. And for me, it's a perfect instrument. I enjoy very much. I love so much to play them, but it's my taste and my favorite. Um, for everybody else, the best the best advice probably would be go to your next possible showroom and try as many guitars as possible and try to compare them. Which one you like more, which direction you prefer more. But it's actually a very long process. Now finding guitar, don't go to the first one and buy the first one. Take your time, take a look at different instruments to be sure that you have found the really good one. Okay, the question from Pablo. From what age do you play guitar? Do you play any other musical instrument? I started to play guitar when I was 10. Before that, I played another instrument. It's called domra, and it's a Belarusian folk instrument with 4 strings, with 4 metal strings, and it looks a little bit like mandolin. So with 10 years, then I started to play guitar, and I learned a little bit to play mandolin, and I have learned to play piano, but I cannot say that I can play these instruments because to be able to play any instrument, you need to have a practice. And all my practicing the whole time on the guitar. So guitar I can play, and other instruments just got forgotten, unfortunately. Maybe when I when I will be retired and when I'm not able to play guitar anymore. And but I want to do some music. Maybe I will try to learn any other instrument. Piano would be great, or cello. I like very much violoncello. It's, it has also great sounds. Probably it would be the next one. Um, One question from XYZ. Tatyana, where are you from? I'm from Belarus. I come from Belarus. I was born in Minsk, in the capital of Belarus, but I live already for many, many years in Germany. From William, what about the next stretch you do between pieces on your concert? Or was it only the one I went? No, it wasn't the only one. I do it regularly. Probably it doesn't happen when it's very warm, or even if it's hot summer, then I don't do it. The explanation is quite easy. I get very often cold hands, especially also during playing, or when you play in a concert halls or in churches. The rooms are always very cold, and the fastest way to make the fingers just a little bit warmer is to put them on the neck. No, of course here would go also, but it somehow, I don't know, here it feels much better, and I can warm them just a little bit, or at least to have an impression that I have warmed them. Um, from Anthony, I'm curious if you would ever want to do an album that's got electric guitar on it. I'm also very curious if it will ever happen or not. um, at the moment, I don't have this wish. I cannot imagine. Okay, I can imagine everything, but I think it will not be so fast. But probably, probably one day it will be so far, and I say electric guitar, cool. It's really the thing what I was missing the whole time, and that's what I need to do right now. But it's still open. Let's see. Let's get surprised. From Lex TV. Татьяна, так вы знаете русский? Да. Я знаю русский, я могу говорить по-русски, это мой родной язык, дома разговариваю по-русски. Если у вас будут вопросы на русском языке, не стесняйтесь, задавайте, и именно в этом формате я с удовольствием вам смогу ответить на русском языке, а не на английском. From Michael. Hi, I'm having a hard time with my tremolo technique. I have an acoustic guitar with steel strings. Do you think practice on a classical guitar with nylon strings will help? No, not really. I think the problem is not the strings themselves, but it's the technique, or how exactly you practice, what exercises do you do, which approach do you have to tremolo technique. And there are actually a great amount of videos about this technique. And I have also one episode where I explain how I personally practice tremolo, and which exercises I do, and what I think is really very helpful to be able to improve these techniques. Or if you like it, you can take a look at my Ask Tatyana series. It's called Tremolo, Languages and Tequila. You will find it on my YouTube channel. Jessie, would you be willing to do a video about how to get clean harmonics? Good question. Could be probably a good topic. If it would really be interesting for you and helpful, then of course. I didn't have it on my plan till now, but now I see your questions, and could be a really good topic to talk about, or to discuss how we can get it better. Um, Ashish, hi, can you suggest me some exercise to increase the speed of my hands? There are actually so many different exercises. To keep it short, what could be helpful? Anyway, scales, different kinds of scales with different combinations for the left hand, but also for the right hand, different fingerings with AM, MI, AM, with 3 fingers, with 2 fingers, would be very helpful, and especially to practice it with a metronome. Very important. If you work on speed, metronome should be your first friend, friend number one. You should always have it with you, near you, and to work always with a metronome if you want to get a high velocity and to get really better in this question. So different kind of scales. Also, there are some very good coordination exercises that help to coordinate both hands. One of these exercises I have already recorded, and it's an episode of Ask Tatyana. I think it's called My Exercise Number One, or My Guitar Exercise Number One. This one is also very helpful to be able to get faster and to get better coordination between both hands. And of course, all kinds of arpeggio exercises and tremolo exercises and spiders for the left hand. So variety is great. The main thing is that you really do it and do it continuously and not just only once. Um, from Juliana. Hi Tatiana, I'm Gabriel. So from Gabriel. I met you in Brazil. Come to Buenos Aires. I want to see you again. Your show in Brazil was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really amazing experience for me to be and to play in Brazil. It was something special, and I have a great time there, and I have a great memories right now, and I hope very much that we'll repeat it once. Okay, let's take a look if we have something else. I need to check what you have written. No. So once again, so many comments. For example, oops, I lost it. From James, how can I get back into the classical guitar after 7 years? I previously played at a good intermediate level, grade 6 United Kingdom, if you're familiar with that. Thanks. How you can get back into the classical guitar? Um, Actually, quite easy. You just need to start to play again, and you will be surprised. Even if you didn't play for a long time. I know it also from my experience. I had a period in my life where I didn't play for 2 years, and I didn't play at all. So I didn't touch the instrument. And I was thinking like, oh God, I lost for sure everything what I could. But it wasn't like that. When you start to play again, and you start to do exercises again, and try not to force it too much, and don't be frustrated if what you could do in the past doesn't work immediately. It's not so bad. You will see if you practice regularly, if you start to practice again regularly, and if you have a good teacher, or if you can have a good books and good technical guide, you will be able to reach this last year level in quite a short time. What I mean short time, by me it was something like few months, but it was then continuous working on my technique and continuous practicing. Maybe you will need a little bit more, maybe you will need a little bit less, but if you said 7 years you didn't play, I think during half of the year or 1 year, you will be at the same level where you stopped. Okay. One question from Herve, Yvonne. Hi Tatyana, when you memorize a piece, do you remember the notes or the position of your fingers? Both. Actually, both. It changes from part to part or from place to place. Sometimes it's I really know exactly the melody notes. Of course, not all of them, because when you play in the same moment 5 or 6 notes, you're not able to say in the head all of them simultaneously. So it doesn't work. So in this case, I just memorize the melody line, and sometimes I sing it in my head, like A B C. And sometimes or very often, I really memorize the position of my fingers, where I am right now. If I know this chord, if it was a new chord for me, is it strange? Is it normal? Is it big? Is it small? Is it do I need all fingers? Do I need 2 fingers? Which strings? Which position? What transition I have? So all these kind of things help me a lot to be able to play by memory. As I said, if you use many different kinds of memories, as more memories, kind of memories we use, as more secure and sure we are playing by memory. From Jay. Hi Jay. I've always had very problematic nails. You solved this with the Microcell 2000 nail repair. Thank you. But what do you do if you snap a nail very low? You're close to a performance. It's horrible. If it happens, it's absolutely horrible. And I tried to get it so far. So usually when I know I have a concert in a few days or during a week, I try to do many things not with my right hand where I have nails, but I do it with the left hand. And it happens, especially very often, this kind of problem happens very often if you need to open something, to open the door of the closet, door of the room, if you take a keys or something like that, or in the kitchen. So at this point where I know I have a concert, I take care that I do most of the things with left hand. It's somehow already on my in my back head, and I you can get used to it, and it's really very very helpful. It's much more helpful than try to repair the nail immediately, and it doesn't work. So you just need to be careful in the whole day life. From Adam. Hello Tatyana, would you choose to play classical guitar again if you could decide now which instrument to master? It's a long pause. I think yes. Um, don't understand me wrong. I'm absolutely happy playing classical guitar, and I absolutely enjoy it. And each time, I absolutely excited how deep this musical world of classical guitar is, and how much potential you have there. And how many possibilities you have playing this instrument. I mean, musical possibilities, and how many great pieces there are. And sometimes I think the whole life is not enough to play all this beautiful music. So probably yes. As I said, I like also a lot the sound of violoncello, of cello, and maybe it would be also an instrument that I could manage quite well. The only problem is it's quite heavy to carry it, so probably I would need any solution. But I absolutely love the sound of cello. So maybe one of these both it would be. Another question from Mauricio. What do you think about the issue about the Barrios in Segovia? Um, I have when I was a child, I grown up with imagination or with the picture that Segovia is a god. It was because my first teacher, my first guitar teacher, was absolutely fan of Segovia, and the whole classroom was full with pictures, with photos of Segovia and Segovia's hand. And he gave me so many books about Segovia, about his life and how great he is, and so many recordings of him. And it was always like, listen, you need to listen, and he's a great master, and you need to try to do like he does it. And it was always like, oh, Segovia, Segovia. um, so I was grown up with this idea. Um, but when I went to Germany and when I started my study in high school, in Hochschule, in the University of Classical Guitar, I've got another great teacher, and um, there the process of opening my eyes started. It was not only process about losing this godlike relationship to Segovia. Of course, I heard for the first time only there from my professor the story about Barrios in Segovia, and I was absolutely, how could it be? It's impossible. Yeah, the God couldn't make this kind of things. But it was probably the moment where this big God started to fall down with a whole crash that could only happen. And um, I must say also, because of new influences, because of new deeper view and in guitar technique, in music styles, in interpretation, and in the color of sound. I have learned so much in Germany by my professor, by Thomas. So when I was listening to the recordings of Segovia, I couldn't find anymore there anything from the gut, and or at least it wasn't my ideal anymore. I got another imagination, or another things what I was thinking are more important, or how you should play, how you can make interpretation, what clang, what sound you should have, or what you do with stylistic. So I I don't want to comment so much the real story between Boris and Segovia. If it's really true, if it's not just like the stories, then of course it's awful. And but probably we don't need to talk about Segovia as a person, but maybe more concentrate ourselves on what he did for classical guitar. Okay, there is a question in Russian from Johnny G. Расскажи про глушение незвучащих струн правой рукой. Когда вы глушите струны правой рукой, есть несколько разных способов, грубо говоря. Есть Самый простой вариант, конечно, когда, например, речь идет о том, чтобы заглушить существующую струну, да, то есть когда ты играешь ту же самую струну, и тебе ее надо заглушить. Понятно? Тогда у нас мы просто ставим следующий палец, который должен быть в тот момент, в следующий момент на струне, и таким образом ты глушишь струну. Другой вариант, например, если струна соседняя, в тот момент, когда, например, ты сыграл сначала вторую струну, потом ты играешь третью, и в этот момент тебе надо заглушить вторую. Да? Таким образом происходит, ты сначала играешь одну, играешь вторую, и в тот момент, когда ты играешь вторую, ты ставишь палец на ту струну, которую надо заглушить. Один случай. Часто это происходит таким образом, что, например, надо заглушить бас. Да? Например, идет смена баса, например, пятый и четвертый. Да? И в тот момент, когда ты играешь четвертый, надо, чтобы пятый не звучал. Как это делается? Несколько вариантов. Первый вариант мы сначала играем пятую струну, потом идем на четвертую. В тот момент, когда ты ударяешь четвертую, ты переносишь палец на пятую. Один вариант. Другой вариант, например, когда надо заглушить очень быстро. То есть ты не можешь сначала сыграть одну, потом вторую, и только после этого глушить. Да? Например, танго, какие-то варианты, когда должно быть очень четко, очень жесткий ритм. Тогда это можно делать последствием того, как ты ставишь большой палец. То есть ты его ставишь таким образом, что он вот этой частью, да, вот здесь, касается шестой струны. И в тот момент, когда ты сыграл шестую и идешь на пятую, ты автоматически глушишь, да, то есть ты глушишь боковой частью большого пальца, и у тебя получается как бы укороченный вариант баса. Тоже возможность. При этом не надо забывать, что всегда существует возможность глушения струн левой рукой, и очень часто это даже гораздо проще, чем делать это правой. Да? Yes, it was Russian. It was Russian language, and my Russian fans are always very angry when that I make all my Ask Tatyana episodes in English, not in Russian. So I just want to keep this possibility in this live session to be able to answer them in their native language. There is a question from Andres. Hi Tatyana, can you? Oops, oh, I lose it. Hi Tatyana, can you please tell us some advices about the moment when you go out to play in front of public and drive thin nerves, please? Exciting topic, very exciting one because you get excited when you go outside and want to play in front of the audience. I'm always very nervous. This very could be as much or as much, but it's always there. What I know from my personal experience, what helps a lot when you're on stage, it's sometimes really not so easy to control the nerves or control how excited you are. Some people say, and sometimes I feel it also, when you come out, the first piece is just like you're very, very excited and nervous, and then you come down and you notice, okay, everything is fine and I'm safe and nothing terrible happens, and you can come down just by yourself. Sometimes it takes longer, but anyway, what I think we can two thoughts that are, for me personally, are very important and that I try always to use, and I know that they help for me. First, very important thought, I need to know that I'm prepared for 120%. So I made my homework. What does it mean? In this case, it's not only my own experience, but also experience with my students. When you go outside and when you're nervous, of course, you lose some part of the quality. No? If you play at home for 100%, in the audience, could happen that you play only 50, 60, or 70, 80% of what you can. Um, to be able to minimize this loss, no, of the quality, very important is how you prepare yourself, how you practice. If your practicing is very good and structured and very effective, and you worked good on technique on these concrete pieces that you will play, and you work very good on memory, and your memory is very stable and it's sure, and if you worked on all the difficulties in this part and you had at home everything under control, and it's very important. Under control, it means that you're really able to make an influence on everything what you do when you play, even at home. Sometimes we feel comfortable and we play good, but it doesn't mean that we have everything under control. It's a big difference. Just to play once good doesn't mean that you can play it. So you need to do very good your homework, and it minimize absolutely how much of of the quality you lose. For example, if at home you played, I don't know, for 100%, maybe one time because you had a special, very fantastic day and you felt good and it was perfect, and you think, oh, okay, actually I can do it. And then you go on the stage, it could happen then from this 100% you will have only 30 or 40% rest. It's very less. If you prepare yourself really good, so it means each time when you play at home this concrete piece, you are able to achieve 100% of quality, or okay, 90% of quality. If you really can do it from 10 times, 10 are like this, and not one is good and others are 20%. So when you're able to achieve many times on the same piece 90% of quality, it means you made a good job and you're probably good prepared. And it means when you will be nervous, of course, you will still lose something, but it will not be like you will fall down on 30%, but maybe from your 90 you will get 70, but it's still good. For performance, it's still very, very, very good. So first thought, prepare yourself properly. And second thing, what I also think is very important, and what we forget sometimes or very often, or what we don't able to practice when we study and if we make it professional. Don't forget, when you play for people, when you play in front of the audience, you do it not to play everything right. People are coming to listen to you not because they want to hear mechanical perfection. They don't want to hear ideal performance without any mistakes. They come to listen to you because they want to join the music. They want to have emotions. You know, the stuff for the head, they can have it at home. They don't need to go anywhere. But if they go to listen to you, to how you play or what you play, in the first row, they want to get some positive emotions. And it's a big difference. Once again, it's not about mistakes. It's not about how many notes you missed. It's about emotions. It's about story that you personally you can tell anybody, no, with your music. So it's also very important, I think, when we try to concentrate ourselves more on music and more on telling a story and not so much on perfection, and that each note is absolutely perfect. As more calm we will be, and as more emotions we really can share with the people, and as more they will appreciate it. Okay. Any other questions? And there are once again so many. Um, uh, have a tea. We have very cold, much colder today in Germany, so something cozy is quite well. From Stefan. Hi Tatyana, how can I increase my pressure of my index finger at barre chords to get a clear sound? Um, yeah, difficult question. Quite easy answer. Practice, practice, practice. In the case of pressure in the index finger, it's always the question how often you do it. If you do it just from time to time, it will not work. So we need to do it continuously, possible as much as possible, and each time when you practice it, when you have a special time, a special bar. Of course, important is how you put your finger on the string or on the fret, and if you really need pressure in the whole of the finger, or maybe you can reduce it only on the top or on this part of the finger. It depends on the chord. And um, when you work on the chord, try always to get really the best out of it. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't work after 5 times or 10 times or even after 30 times of repetition. If it's still not so clear, you need to continue to work on it and always try to get a little bit more pressure in a finger. It will develop, it will get better, it just needs time and continuously working on it because it's more about muscles and to be able to train the muscles, we need time. It doesn't happen immediately. Another trick that could be also helpful when you play the chord, when you want to play the bar chord and you don't have enough pressure in your eye finger, what you could do, you could try to imagine like anybody is holding your hand, your arm, and put it and it pulls it away. So when you press the chord, try to make something like pressure not only with the finger, not only inside of the hand, but with the whole arm, with the whole big arm. So you're pushing out of you in this direction, and it gives a massive power kick at this moment. So you're already able to do it without using your thumb. Now, if you pull your hand to back, you're already able to play it without the thumb. So it's like combination of some tricks and just very long practicing process. Um, um, William, there is a question from William. What was the most awkward moment during a concert of yours? Um, I don't remember with such a great pleasure about this moment, but there was really one, and it was probably really one of the most awkward moments till now in my concert life, and it was something like I probably would never want to experience once again. It was a concert. It was actually on a big exhibition, music exhibition, during a big exhibition, and there was like a concert part. We had several minutes to play, And I had in my program different kinds of music. I played guitar, but I also had some songs. And I must say I'm not a professional singer, and I have never been a professional singer, and I never wanted to be a professional singer. I sang as I was a child, and it was, just like a hobby. I did it for myself because I enjoy it, and just makes fun. And at that point, I started to have voice lessons to get a better technique. And it was exactly the point where I started to change my voice technique, and to get another approach to the whole process. And I had my program one song that was also not very typical for me. It was a little bit a new one. Um, and I can remember when I sang it, there was a passage where I must go up and to catch the high note. And because I was excited, because it was something new, and because I was working also on a new technique, I absolutely missed this high note. And especially when you when it happens, of course you hear it, of course you realize what happens, but of course you're not able to show it somehow on the guitar. It's okay if it happens. It happens sometimes here, sometimes there. It can happen. We are all people, human. But in this moment, it was for me something like, as a voice should be something very natural, and how you can miss a note when you are singing. So it was, first of all, it was so terrible for me in this moment just to continue to sing. And the stupid thing, there was somebody in the audience who started to laugh. And it was like, oh God, I thought I will die on the stage. And I still had few other pieces to continue, and of course I finished it, and I played another pieces. But it was like, you just want to disappear in this moment, in the ear, and never go out. It was really hard, the combination of this mistake and the laugh in the audience. Because of that, it was just like, but 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 I'm still alive. And it's in the past. And as I said, we are all humans, and I make mistakes. Everybody of us makes mistakes, and if we can learn something from it, that's great. Something else. What is the message? There are so many comments, so I first need to read a little bit to find out. There is a question from Ramon. Hello, Tatyana. Soon you will be in Valencia. I will attend your master classes as a listener, and then to your concert at the Guitar Days of Valencia. What program do you have prepared for the day? Usually I try to keep my program in a secret, so probably it would be some kind of surprise for you. But I can tell you the program will be really, really nice. Only the pieces that I really love, and my absolutely favorite pieces, and some of them are very famous and already very successful on YouTube. Some of them are more new, or very, very new. Many of them come from my latest CD, from Dreams of Russian Summer. I have there a lot of Spanish and Latin American music. So it's actually the point or the area where I'm right now. So anyway, I can promise you that it will be really very beautiful music, and I think and I hope you will enjoy it. And anyway, I'm very much looking forward to meet you there in person at master classes and at a concert. Will be great. By the way, for everybody, the end of November, beginning of December, I will be in Valencia. I think somewhere 1st or 2nd December, 2nd, 3rd December, there will be concert and master classes. So you're very welcome, and I'm really happy to be able to meet you in person there. The question from the Tide Turtle: how good do you have to be to study guitar at a conservatory? Been playing since I was 6, took a break from 12 to 18, and been getting more interested last couple of years. Um, in general, of course, as better you are, as more chances you have to enter conservatory. But there is also a big difference. I don't know where are you exactly from, and what kind of conservatory you're talking about. But even in Germany or in Europe, we have some conservatories that have really high entrance level, and there are conservatories that have not a high entrance level. So it depends. It depends. You need to decide for yourself if you really want to live with the music, if you really want to get successful, if you really want to study music. Is probably the more important question than what what level you should have. Because if you have a goal, if you have a concrete goal, and you want to be a guitarist, you want to study it, you want to live with it, you want to play concert, you want to give lessons, you want to have music as a main part of your life, then it doesn't matter how big could be the level. You have a goal and you work for this goal. You just try to take information which conservatory could be possible for you. You can ask what you need exactly to make an entrance exams, what they require, and you can prepare yourself. There is nothing impossible if you want to achieve something, but you just first need to know why you do it. No? To know I want, and if you want, everything will work. Um, um, there are some more questions. Some more. Um, contact fingers. Sweat. I have one word that I don't. Okay, I know. There is a question from Evgeny. What can you do when during concerting fingers sweat? Um, Unfortunately, it happens very often, and it belongs more or less to the usual concert practice. And the main thing what you can do, um, try to hold on to pray and to play. In this moment they are wet because you're nervous, and to get them really dry, continuously dry, not only dry for 1 minute, you need to get down. So when your nerves will calm down, the fingers will be better. But it's a very short, fast solution. You, of course, some of the guitarists, if they know they have this problem, they have some kind of of a towel that they can take out and just make it dry. Or if you don't have a towel, you have your trousers, but then you need to do it very, very careful that not so many people see what you are doing. Or if you have a break, that's great to go and to wash your hands and to make them dry. It helps also. Otherwise, there is. I have heard. I have never tried it, but I have heard from one of my students. She's using talc. It's like this white powder that also the sportsmen are using, that work a lot with the weight, so they also need to have a dry hands. And I don't know, I have never tried it before, but it makes sense for me. And as I said, my one of my students uses and seems to work, so maybe you can try it. There is a question from Dry. Why you choose to study in Germany? Why I choose? It was a little accident, a happy accident. My brother was at the time in Germany. He worked in Germany. He's not a musician. So I had already some kind of, I don't know. I knew Germany. I have visited it several times, and he brought also my recording to one of the universities in Germany, and so we get in contact with the professors there, and they said, "Yeah, Tatyana need to come and try with the exams, with entrance exams," and so how it how it came to Germany. Now I'm really, really happy that I did it, and that I did it really in this country, because Germany is, of course, has a great amount of possibilities for young guitarists. There are so many festivals and so many competitions and so many great teachers and conservatories, and um, you can have many students if you want, and if you work well. I don't want to say that here is everything easy, and that you become and get everything what you want. um, it's not. It's also hard. You need to work hard. You need to think a lot. You need to work on yourself a lot. And also because there are so many people, market is some kind of not so big, but you have possibilities, but you need to be able to find these possibilities and to use these possibilities. We have just very, very less time. And once again, so many good questions. Um, there is a question from James Brook. Any plans to play a concert in America? Yes, probably in the, if I'm not wrong, 2020. The year could be, or we are playing some concerts in the USA. So maybe premiere will happen. There are so many questions also about memorization of the piece. I have answered short before. The recording, after we will finish, you will have an opportunity to take a look at the recording of today's session. So maybe some of the tips you can already find, and I'm going to make an extra episode about memorization, how you memorize better, which tricks, which tips, which techniques you can use, and to be really sure in playing by memory. There is a question from Barbara. Hi Tatyana, how many hours did you practice regularly when you were a child and now? Greetings from Argentina. When I was a child, I think I was practicing around 4 hours. Um, and it was a big part of my life. And I didn't have so much time for friends and for going out because if you have a school and then you have once again musical school and you need to make your homework for the usual school and then you need to practice for the next lesson, so there is not so much time, but it was necessary at that point. It was very necessary and very helpful. And I think because of that, because of this regular practicing, I could reach so much at this age. And now I practice a little bit less. It depends if I have any rehearsals with my projects, or just um, if I just in my usual working process and prepare myself for the concert. But usually 2-3 hours is enough for me right now. Oh God. I think we could continue in that way till the early morning. And it's really, really great to have so many questions from you. Uh, I think we, what does it mean? I think we will continue next month. There will be in November, there will be a new Ask Tatyana Live, and we will continue with all the other questions, or if I have a new one, that would be really great pleasure for me to talk to you and to answer all your questions and to spend this time together. Just to the end, next week, next Friday, it will be 26. I will give. I will be in Italy and will give master classes and play the concert. But if you're not able to be there on YouTube next Friday, there will be a new episode of Ask Tatyana, and I will talk about difference between practicing and playing. It might sound yeah, quite easy, and you might say, "Okay, I know," but not everything is so easy as you think. Many of the problems that we usually have roots in how we practice. Actually, all the problems. And of course, most of the problems you can solve with a good practicing. And how to make this practicing, I will tell you next Friday in my next episode, so don't miss it. In November, there will be new live practicing sessions. On the first Friday of November, I will do again live stream of my practicing. It will be available only on Patreon, so if you're interested, you have enough time just to come in our Patreon family. And then you can see how I really practice when nobody's looking at me, and how I really work on the pieces. And there will be also some new music videos and Ask Tatyana and Ask Tatyana Live again. So we continue with the new stuff, and I'm absolutely thankful and I'm very grateful that you took the time and you spent this time here, this hour together with me. It was a really great pleasure. It's already second time I enjoy it very much. Thank you so much for your so many comments and kind words and messages and questions. And I think we managed more questions than the last time. Next time we will continue in November. And thank you so much once again for being here. And I wish you a great day or good morning, good night, have a good sleep, have a wonderful weekend, and let's stay in touch and see you very soon next month by next Ask Tatyana Live. Have a great day and bye bye.